But as far as the fight, I feel like Bug could beat him easy. How though?
You got a love for boxing.
Yes, love
Who
boxing.
gonna win the fight, man? That's coming up. The biggest
Crawford.
fight in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating.
New York when Hamza fought Berlanga, and he doesn't look too small anymore. He's filled out a lot, looked quite big.
Analysts believe Terence Crawford has what it takes to beat Canelo Alvarez, highlighting his sharp intelligence in the ring and ability to adjust to any style. Stephen A. Smith firmly states that Crawford will come out on top against Canelo, showing complete confidence in his view. While he respects Canelo's talent, he makes it clear that Crawford's skills and mindset give him the edge. In his opinion, Crawford is the one fighter who can handle Canelo's strength and dominance.
You got a love for boxing.
Yes,
Who
love
gonna
boxing.
win the fight, man? That's coming up. The biggest
Crawford.
fight in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You
will
gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always ready.
always prepared.
He's always
gotta
ready.
give
He's
him
always prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But I don't think he's gonna knock him.
Experts have compared Errol Spence to Canelo Alvarez, noting that Spence shares a Mexican-influenced fighting style that mixes skill, toughness, and constant pressure. Their point is simple. Since Terence Crawford was able to clearly defeat Spence, it suggests he could also beat Canelo. Spence's technical skills, movement, and body shots are considered equal to Canelo's strengths. Analysts argue this shows Crawford has the ability, adaptability, and sharp mindset needed to deal with Canelo's style. The comparison strengthens the belief that Crawford can succeed because he has already beaten a fighter with similar qualities and approach.
One wins by way of knockout. Is there a drastic difference in skill set and style between Errol Spence and Canelo Alvarez? There's not. There's not. There's obvious differences, but is there a drastic difference? No. Errol Spence is flat-footed, aggressive, come forward, and a pressure fighter. Canelo Alvarez is aggressive, come forward, flat-footed, and a pressure fighter. Overall, their skill set is pretty much the same skill set. The difference is durability, for one. Canelo Alvarez has as great of a chin as there is in the sport of boxing historically, where we've seen Errol Spence hurt in the past, early in his career, and then you've seen him, buzzed by your Dana Sugas. But obviously, Errol Spence has suffered a horrific car accident, okay? Errol Spence suffered the 2 major eye injuries.
Shakur Stevenson brushes off worries about the size gap between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. He believes Crawford's talent, ring IQ, and complete skill set matter far more than weight. Stevenson explains that Crawford has already faced a wide range of styles and high-level opponents, giving him the experience needed for this kind of fight. He stresses that boxing is not just about size but about timing, accuracy, and the ability to take away an opponent's strengths. In his view, Crawford has repeatedly shown he can adjust to any situation. For Stevenson, the fight will come down to execution and strategy, and he is confident Crawford has what it takes to beat Canelo.
I feel like Bug could beat him easy. How though?
What are your thoughts on Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez? Terence going up another 2 weight classes. Just got to 54. He's skipping 60, going straight to 68. Talking about what's going on.
I feel like once he beat Canelo, that will be like one of the greatest resumes in boxing ever, just because of the fact that he's going up 2 divisions just to fight this guy, and this guy's bigger than him. And not only did you just crush Errol Spence, but you go out there and the way that he beats Canelo too. If he go out there and just dominate and make it an easy fight, honestly, I think that that's gonna be like one of the best resumes I ever seen. But as far as the fight, I feel like Bug could beat him easy.
How though? Don't give me everything. Just how is it?
For me, it's a blueprint already. Floyd was a lot smaller than Canelo when he fought him. You keep Canelo on the outside. I ain't gonna even say too much, but you keep him on the outside and make it easy.
Amir Khan responds to doubts about Terence Crawford's chances, especially concerns over size and power. He praises Crawford's precision, body attack, and smart use of small, accurate shots, pointing out how these tools helped him beat elite fighters like Errol Spence. Khan stresses Crawford's skill in controlling the tempo, creating openings with smart movement, and landing with accuracy. He believes critics overlook how these qualities can break down bigger, stronger opponents. In Khan's view, Crawford's bodywork and tactical intelligence would be key against Canelo, just as they have been in his biggest wins.
I'm thinking of maybe going there. I've been asked to go there and obviously give my input on the fight before they go in the ring. And obviously I know both fighters. Canelo's a friend now after our fight we had, and also Crawford had shared training camp with him as well. It's a good fight. Well, I'm not going to say too much.
Okay.
I'm going to save it till on the day of the fight.
Okay.
But look, it's going to be a mega fight. Honestly, it's hard to pick the winner. Yeah. But like I said, it's a close one.
I know you said you don't want to say too much, but when people talk about Crawford boxing on the outside and using the movement, almost making it boring in a sense, do you think he can do that with the added weight that gets put on and him boxing in that certain style that we haven't really seen him box like before? In terms of boxing on the outside and almost sort of that stick and moving type.
You talking about Crawford? Yeah?
Crawford, yeah.
Look, Crawford's going to probably do the same thing that he knows best, which is box, be smart, slow movements, small steps. It's only small steps he's taking. So I think look, and it's always worked for him. Every fight he's been in, we thought that the fight with Spence was going to be hard, and he made it look so easy. Now, we've never really seen him in a hard fight where we've seen him in trouble, so maybe this could be the fight that puts him in that trouble to see what he's going to be like when he's under pressure. You know what I mean? We've never seen either fighter under pressure, like a lot of pressure. You can't say...
Maybe Golovkin for Canelo, I guess you could say.
Exactly, Golovkin, But other than that, I don't class the Mayweather fight a hard fight, because Mayweather was just a runner, wasn't he?
Yeah. I guess Bivol had the size.
Bivol had the size advantage, but this one, I think Canelo has the size advantage. But then again, I've always said Crawford puts on the weight well. If you look at size of him, you see his picture when he was like 185. He looked huge, bro. He looked jacked up and he looked strong at the weight.
Promoter Eddie Hearn admits he first doubted Terence Crawford's chances against Canelo. But after meeting Crawford in person and seeing his mindset, his view changed completely. Hearn was impressed by Crawford's unshakable confidence and will to win, noting that mental strength often decides big fights at the top level. This shifted his perspective, making him believe that Crawford's determination and skill could make the matchup much closer than he originally thought. While he still respects Canelo's abilities, Hearn now believes Crawford has a real shot at victory.
Still favoring Crawford in the fight, or has your opinion changed?
I've always favoured Canelo in the fight.
Well, I've heard that you want Canelo to win, but you feel...
Of course, I like Terence. I've worked a lot with Canelo, and I think just because of what I saw in Riyadh and because of the threat, and he's getting on as well, Crawford, but it's just like the mindset of Crawford. Like, there's no doubt in Terence Crawford's mind that he wins this fight. And when you spend a bit of time with him, you kind of start buying into that. And I guess that's what happened in Riyadh, because I've travelled with him to the fight, and but it's a 50-50 fight. I think gun to head, I'm probably picking Crawford right now, but I want Canelo to win. And he can win for sure, but Terence is going to make it really tricky and awkward for him. I don't think he's going to like that kind of fight.
Former boxer Andy Lee describes the clash between Canelo and Terence Crawford as a major fight for boxing. He dismisses the idea that weight will decide the outcome, noting that Crawford is not as undersized as people assume. With added weight for this potential matchup, Crawford looks strong and well prepared. Lee admits Canelo may carry a natural size edge, but says that alone will not guarantee him the win. In his view, Crawford's speed, angles, and versatility can balance out the size gap, setting up a competitive and thrilling fight for fans.
Like every good fight, no one really knows the skill and competitiveness and ring craft of Crawford, or you can say the same things about Canelo, but just he has that size. And but I see Crawford in New York when Hamza fought Berlanga, and he doesn't look too small anymore. He's filled out a lot. He looks quite big. It's a great fight. I think they're equally matched in skill, and it's going to be one of the best fights. It's going to, like, when you see how skillful both fighters are, the tricks they have, and how they fight. It should be one of the best fights of the last, I don't know how many years. It should be up there with the best fights we can remember.
Yeah. Does the weight putting on for Crawford?
Some analysts point out that Terence Crawford is entering unfamiliar ground by moving up to face naturally bigger opponents at Canelo Alvarez's weight class. Crawford has dominated in lighter divisions, but he has not consistently faced fighters with the size, strength, and toughness that Canelo brings. On the other hand, Canelo has not only competed but also defeated many top-level opponents at this weight, proving both his physical power and tactical adaptability.
This is what scares me going into this Terence Crawford fight. These are the guys Canelo's typically fighting. This is his last opponent, William Scull. William Scull is far from a great opponent. When we're talking about sheer size and strength, Canelo is just way more built and used to taking on larger guys and overpowering them. Look at William Scull. This guy is jacked. He's huge, man. And that makes me think, like, if Canelo has been taking punches from guys like this, I'm not saying William Scull in particular, but guys like William Scull, the size of William Scull, and he's been dropping them, stopping them, beating them around the ring, overpowering, over-muscling, just everything, physically demanding over them. That makes me think, man, Terence Crawford, I don't know what, you gonna have to come with some heat, dog. Look at Canelo.
Because of this gap in experience, analysts say Crawford must be at his absolute best from start to finish. Winning is possible, but it will require near-perfect execution, full concentration, and the ability to adjust quickly during the fight. His conditioning will be vital since Canelo's pressure and control could wear down an opponent who is not fully prepared. Crawford will also need to show he can take Canelo's power and respond with his own offense. Each round will bring new tests, and even a brief mistake could change the outcome. To make history, Crawford will have to blend discipline, toughness, and creativity in the biggest fight of his career.
This guy is half the size of William Scull. There's nothing cut about him. There's nothing popping out, bulging. There's nothing. Look at this. This is insanity. That's what I'm really like, dude. I don't know. Canelo could go in there and walk through Terence Crawford like a hot knife through butter. That is definitely on the table here. He gonna have to be really crafty, really savvy, and have to put on some amazing work from the outside. If he tries to sit there and walk through Canelo, he gonna hit a brick wall, dog. If guys built like this ain't walking through Canelo, even when Canelo looks like this, Terence Crawford ain't doing it, man. I gotta be honest.
Virgil Ortiz takes a more doubtful view of Terence Crawford's chances against Canelo Alvarez. He notes that Crawford has not yet faced top-level opponents at this heavier weight, and jumping straight into such a tough fight without that experience is a big gamble. Ortiz explains that adding extra pounds changes a fighter's body, affecting stamina, foot speed, and reaction time. Canelo, by contrast, has spent years competing and dominating at this weight, giving him strength, comfort, and familiarity that Crawford lacks. Ortiz cautions that the challenge of moving up while also facing one of the most dangerous and seasoned champions in boxing could be too much. While he respects Crawford's skill, he believes the weight difference may give Canelo a clear advantage.
I don't think he is, but if he beats Canelo, he'll be like my #1 fighter of all time.
You don't think Crawford beats Canelo?
I don't think so. And look, hear me out. I respect Crawford and everything that he's doing, but he just moved up from 147, so I'm just gonna treat him as a 147 pounder. He's jumping up 3 weight classes to fight someone who was like the #1 fighter in all of boxing, you know. The jump would be hard, even if it was just like some top 10,
right, yeah.
You know.
Bud, would you say he's a very smart fighter?
Yes.
Very calculated,
Yes.
right? Don't you think that maybe he sees something that most people aren't seeing?
I think he does, but the thing is he gonna be able to even like to capitalize on it? Because he's a smaller fighter, and look, I think people are thinking at the aspect of, can Crawford do it? Yes, I think he can do it, but can Canelo do it? And I think he has a bigger chance of doing it than Crawford does.
Favors him.
Now, Canelo, he has obviously the size advantage, the strength advantage, intellect. I think Crawford edges him out in IQ. I just think the weight difference is going to be the deciding factor here. I mean, like, when I seen Canelo's check hook against Berlanga, that shit was like this. You know, and Canelo's not slow either. Like, this shit was, I didn't see that coming at all. He just dropped him, and I was just like, damn, he still got it. I just think that Crawford just bit off a little more than he can chew, but if he can chew it and he beats him, which I think he can. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he has 0% chance. I'm just thinking Canelo wins. But if he does, he will be my #1 fighter of all time.
Wow, I always knew that you had a lot of respect and admiration for.
Fans and analysts continue to debate how the result of this fight will be judged. Many feel that if Crawford wins, he will earn full respect for beating a bigger and more experienced opponent. But if Canelo wins, some may downplay it as just a victory over a smaller fighter. On the other hand, if Canelo loses, the criticism could be even greater, with questions about how one of boxing's top pound-for-pound stars allowed himself to be beaten by a naturally smaller man. This situation creates added intrigue and pressure for both fighters.
What sucks for Canelo Alvarez? The fact that when he beats Terence "Bud" Crawford, he's really not going to get much credit for this victory. Although Terence is an undefeated fighter, he's a pound-for-pound star, one of the biggest names in American boxing, but he's going up 3 weight divisions, and on paper, Canelo Alvarez should win this fight, and he should win it in a dominant fashion. And that's what sucks about this fight, because Canelo really doesn't gain much from beating Crawford. The only one who really can gain anything, that is Crawford. And I guarantee you, after Canelo Alvarez beats Terence "Bud" Crawford, all the fans that were saying this is an easy fight for Crawford, Canelo's washed, Crawford's gonna win by KO, all these crazy things, right? Those same people are gonna be saying, oh, Canelo's a cherry picker, he doesn't want to fight real fighters, he's ducking Benavidez, he's ducking the rematch against Dimitri Bivol. It's gonna be like, man, Canelo he just can't win. But you're gonna see, man, the narrative is gonna totally flip, and it's gonna be a very crazy thing to watch. But I'm curious to know your thoughts. Do you think Canelo Alvarez will receive any credit for beating Terence "Bud" Crawford? Let's talk about it, and follow me for more boxing talk.
No matter who wins, this fight is shaping up to be a huge event, possibly one of the biggest sports spectacles ever streamed on Netflix. 2 of the greatest fighters of their generation will share the ring, each determined to prove they are the best. Matchups like this are rare in boxing, where issues like timing, weight divisions, and promotional hurdles often get in the way. This bout is more than just a championship fight. It's a battle of styles, legacies, and ambitions that fans will remember for years.
This is huge news for boxing, UFC, and Netflix. Terence Crawford vs Canelo Alvarez will officially be on September the 13th on Netflix. Now, the reason why this is so interesting is, of course, the UFC, TKO, recently acquired their new strange boxing model with Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White promoting it, and this actually will be on Netflix. So for some context, if you don't know, the UFC are currently under negotiations with a new TV deal, and the rumours for a very long time were that of Netflix, but it doesn't look like they're going down that route anymore. Or at least it sounded like Netflix wanted a total package where they would get the major UFC fights and the major boxing fights as well. Or potentially they didn't even want the UFC fights and they just wanted a couple of these sort of events. Regardless, Dana White is officially the promoter for it, which I do believe is still bizarre. I still really think that's super bizarre. And the fact that they have quite opposing views in Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White, to be honest. Not in everything, but in how events are run. Dana White doesn't even like stadiums, first and foremost. Doug Al-Sheikh loves making as big of a splash as he possibly can. As fights go, for the casuals, this one is as good as it gets. It really is. Let me know what you think. As always, keep it casual.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more. See you next time.